Говорю по-русски очень чуть-чуть. Или хотел сказать по-русски, что мне очень приятно, что меня пригласили к вам на конференции. Спасибо. Now, to my relief, and I'm sure the audiences, I will speak in English from now on. I work in the UK on the travel team. We take care of the largest travel advertisers in the UK, such as British Airways, Thomas Cook, etc., as well as destination marketers for Visit England and Visit Britain. So today I'll talk to you a bit about a few things. One, why we think the internet is important, and two, what travelers are doing on the internet and how you can take advantage of that. And three, of course, I'm a salesperson, so I'll talk a bit about the ads, but at the end, hopefully inspire you to give your videos or your marketing a bit of a boost with examples of things that have gone viral on the internet. But first, to endear myself to you further, other than my stumbling Russian, I have Nathan's Slavic equation, which is why I feel so happy to be in this region. I spent 2 years in Lvov, Ukraine. My wife is a Ukrainian who speaks Russian. And now we have little Lev, who is possibly named after the greatest goalkeeper in football history. So hopefully you love me now. Let's get to the business, the internet. I think we all understand that the internet is huge. In every country outside of Russia, and inside of Russia of course, but every country outside of Russia where you hope to get affluent travelers, you'll find people on the internet. So in Europe alone, we see about 420 million people online. And if you look in Asia, North and South America, etc., hundreds of millions of people are online. So the question is, what are some stats that really bolster that number and make it important? One is something from the UK, which is that 70% of the households have broadband internet connections. The importance of this is, one, it shows that the internet is central to people's lives now, but two, it enables things like rich media and video to be watched. And that's very important for marketing travel, and I'll talk a bit more about that. And then maybe most importantly in all of our minds is the fact that people are spending money on the internet, and they're doing so comfortably. So this target age group, 25 to 34-year-olds in Britain, 90% of them have purchased something online in the last year. So people are not scared to lay down the credit card and spend money on the internet. So if we look at the traveler and how they research and what they do online, we can answer a few questions for you. One, what are people doing online related to travel? We found this statistic to be quite impressive, and this is from the United States. 84% of people use the internet as a primary source for planning their travel. 1 year ago, that number was 79%. So more and more, even more than word of mouth actually, the internet is what is the source of inspiration for travel. If you look at what people are doing online about travel, they're reading reviews primarily, and you see there the third bar is watching a travel video. So I'll talk a bit more about this travel cycle, and you can understand that it's important to market to people, it's important to get their money of course, but then you need to make sure the experience is a good one because they will post a review, and the next person who's looking at traveling will read that review. So the way at Google that we approach looking at travelers online is through this, we call it the travel life cycle. And people will start dreaming about a holiday before they really know specifically what they will do. They'll research a bit more focused, and then they'll make their booking. Experiencing the holiday, they're still online more and more with smartphone penetration and people accessing the internet with their mobile devices, their tablets, etc. And then that bit I mentioned, they're going to share their experiences, good or bad. And the next dreamer will use those experiences to influence. So it's important when you think about your advertising to think about what stage of this cycle you're targeting for the traveler and tailor your messaging to that. So if we skip forward to the ads, one way to look at it is not just pushing people, but also engaging them. So if you promote yourself, we recommend search, display, video. All these products are going to be integrated in the experience because they touch people at different stages of this cycle. You bring them to a central place, and then you allow them to engage with your brand. And it could be that you just want to sell something, that's fine, but take reviews, post comments, link to Facebook, Twitter, I'll mention Yahoo. But the point is that you want to have a conversation with these people. Obviously, I'm from Google, so I'm a bit biased, but I have to point out that if you're trying to reach global travelers, the market share is quite clear. Google has the market share, and you're able to access people virtually in any country around the globe. This is for search. For display, we're more on parity with others, and we have quite a good display network as well, and I'll talk a bit about that. So most people will start with a search, write in something like travel to Russia, and depending on what you're marketing, whether it's big or whether it's as small as a city excursion, you may or may not want to jump in at this point in the process. But I think every company, big or small, would want to enter at some point. Say when someone says things to do in Kazan, at that point you might come in and say, right, I'm here and I have a business to talk about. And if you talk about the integration with display, we find that if people see a display ad, 36% of them will then go and search for that ad online. So we really think it's important to use multiple kinds of products together in the process. When you look at display, again, with that life cycle and what people are looking for, think about what kind of content you want to put your ad against. So we at Google have something called contextual targeting. So you're able to look at the content of a web page and identify when you want to place your ad. So your content might be, I want people who are totally undecided, I want to inspire them to come to Russia, or my region, or my city. So these kinds of pages, travel inspiration, what to do on holiday, these are areas where you can place your ad. You might think of getting a little bit further into the process and be more specific with your targeting. So here's a web page I found with the overlooked Russian cities. And there's a list of different cities that are something other than basically St. Petersburg or Moscow. It takes advertising, as you can see on the bottom corner there, and it also had a bit about Kazan. And so I thought this would be a great place if you were marketing your city to have an ad alongside that content. YouTube is a central place for watching videos in many countries. It's actually the #2 largest search engine in the world, behind Google. We get 2 billion daily views, and an interesting stat is that there's 25 hours of video uploaded every minute. So if you wanted to watch everything uploaded to YouTube today, it would take you 5 years. But the point for travel is that we find that travelers watch videos online. They're generally a bit more affluent, technologically savvy, and this is what they do. They're the ones with the broadband connection. We also find that a lot of travelers, about 40%, will watch travel videos online. So rather than casting a really wide net with your advertising, you might think about just focusing on videos really related to travel in your area. So again, a search query like travel to Russia will surface a couple of kinds of ads on YouTube. You could promote a video of yours, and this is a good idea if you have interesting content. It also helps your videos go viral, which I'll talk about a bit more. Or you could place a display out on something that's really relevant. And you see a video down there teaching how to pronounce spasiba. And so you could place an ad against this, for example. And I stumbled through the Russian. I see I'm not the only one. The comments are saying something like, now the only bit of Russian I will learn is "Я не говорю по-русски." But the point is, you can be very targeted. If you remember, I'm talking about bringing everything back to a central place again. So in this example, this is a brand channel. A brand channel is something free that you can do. If you want to get a lot of traffic there, obviously you want to have some marketing behind it. But I'll give some examples about brand channels that really serve as good centralized hubs for different brands. This is one from Visit Britain. They do a very good job of putting their TV advertising on here to get a bit extra run. Some companies will also put on ads that they're not sure if they'll work well or not. Put those on YouTube and test them out for less money. And just put interesting things about the region. Here's one from Egypt. And Egypt does a good job about saying, right, what do you want to do in our region? We have golf, we have history, we also have just beach resorts, if you like. And it has video, information about each of these. And there's a really nice one done for Sochi as well that I saw, and some really good content on there. And then I'd be very remiss if I didn't point out that the organizers of this very forum have their own brand channel. And there they are right there. So well done. I'm sure there's somewhere there in the background. So looking at the brand channels, I think could be a central part of any marketing experience. Obviously, it's great if you could catch something that goes viral, one of those videos that just gets amazing amounts of views. One of these that sticks out in my mind is one not related to travel, but it's an idea of thinking really big and going beyond what you think you're capable of. So in this example, Old Spice deodorant, which is deodorant, not a very sexy brand whatsoever. In fact, it was a brand losing market share because it wasn't modern enough. Old Spice found out that actually women were the ones who bought the deodorant for the men much of the time. So they made a video campaign appealing to women, but it also turned out to appeal to men as well. I can't show an example because I don't have an internet connection, but I encourage you to go look at Old Spice on YouTube. They've gotten 244 million views for their ads about deodorant. It's amazing. So if you look at travel examples, one that Las Vegas did for the Visitors Authority for Vegas was they wanted to appeal to Middle America. And so they decided the way to do that was take a whole town on a Vegas vacation. So the town of Cranfills, Texas, population 350, all got to go to Las Vegas. And the whole thing was filmed and then put on YouTube. So it got a lot of free publicity from different media outlets because it's just an interesting thing. They also got free footage, or relatively free footage, for their television commercials. And probably my favorite example, and another one that you should maybe look at and go on YouTube and check out, is from the Queensland Tourist Authority from Australia. This didn't start on the internet, but it kind of ended there because they've gotten millions of views for their videos. But they took out an ad in the classified sections for various newspapers around the world saying, "We have the world's perfect job. Take care of a tropical island for 6 months and we'll pay you 150,000 Australian dollars. All you have to do is submit a video application." So they had a contest. They had lots of video footage that they could put on YouTube, and then they could make a montage that people would watch on YouTube. And this again got picked up everywhere from Russia to Asia to the US. News stories would play on this, and they've got millions of views. I forget the exact amount, hundreds of millions. And I'll leave you with one more example, as they say in Britain, a very cheeky example. But how many people watch the in-flight videos on the airplane? Not one person. This video has 6.5 million views for the in-flight video for Air New Zealand. Now the reason is because they're actually naked. Their bodies are just painted, which you can kind of see if you look closely. Not saying that you have to get naked to have a viral video. I'm just saying if you're willing to have a bit of fun with your brand and do something that people will be interested in and engage in, it has a chance to go viral. So again, I think the thing to think about when marketing online is tailor your messaging to where you want to step into the process. You don't have to go into the widest area when people are being inspired, but by the time they've decided they want to come to Russia, by the time they search for the most overlooked cities or the unknown gems of Russia, this is where you want to step in. Thank you.